Hi, I'm Dr. Ken Adams. I'm here to speak with you tonight about how to help your relationship if one of you happens to be enmeshed with your parent or family. I'm the clinical director and the developer of a workshop series for men and women who have enmeshment with a parent and their family of origin or agents of their parent, where they feel entangled and burdened with guilt, and that this burdens the relationship. It leaves them unable to be fully present to their spouse. For the simplicity of our talk tonight, I'm going to use a heterosexual couple where the husband is enmeshed with his mother and the wife is in conflict with that and is tired of feeling second fiddle. Certainly these dynamics can be also applied and are common in same-gender relationships, or where the wife is enmeshed with a mother or father and the husband feels second fiddle in that relationship. If you look at the literature on family systems and marital relationships and what is healthy, what is functional, what works, what's successful, one of the things that consistently emerges is that there's a clear generational boundary, and that there's a clear boundary of loyalty and devotion, that the couple is devoted and loyal to each other first, and I would add second and third, and not to their mother. When the man is enmeshed with his mother, his loyalties are either split, or he's loyal or more loyal frequently at the cost of his romance with his wife to his mother or agents of the mother, brothers, sisters, father, who are making him feel guilty and obligated. He's torn. And he is unable and unavailable to be present to his wife. It's costly to him. So in order for a relationship, for a couple to successfully deal with the impact of enmeshment, there has to be an obvious recognition from the man, in this case, as I said, the man being the one we're identifying, that there is a problem, that he is enmeshed, that his wife is not the intruder. The mother is the intruder. It is not fair to him to be left feeling obligated and guilty. So I'd like to give you some strategies as a couple about how you can work with your parent, your mother, your family, where you visit with them versus getting involved in the drama. So many people turn a visit into an involved encounter, and the enmeshed man absorbs the drama, feels responsible, takes it home, rejects or neglects his wife because he's burdened with all that he had to deal with his mother. So I want to give you a series of steps, how to develop a template to visit, to learn to visit with your family that is enmeshing and intrusive, so that you might have more of a functional relationship with them, but more importantly, so that your loyalty is in your romantic relationship. The first, obviously, is the individual who's enmeshed has to take some acknowledgement and responsibility for the fact that this is the case, and stop blaming his wife or partner as the one who was intrusive. Reality is the mother and the agents of the mother are the intrusive ones. They're making this man feel guilty, obligated in ways that really are not, and a burden in ways that really aren't fair to him. And he sometimes then feels unable to be fully present in his commitment romantically with his wife. So there has to be an acknowledgement that this is a problem, and so that the wife is not seen as the problem or as the intrusive one. And the second is to develop a strategy about how to visit, if you will, with the husband's family or mother. So I use the word visit because oftentimes the man gets involved with the drama of the mother and her woes at a cost to his own life and his romance. So the first recommendation I have for you is to develop a template to learn to visit and not get involved, right? Those are really not your problems, even though you've been made to feel that way. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't from time to time have to assist in your parents' aging process or something like that. But your commitment and loyalty, coming back to the literature on successful marriages and families, is your loyalty is to your marriage, to your relationship, to your family of procreation. You're moving away from your family of origin. So developing a template of visiting. And then soliciting, second of all, soliciting your partner as an ally rather than an adversary. So the two of you begin to work together. And then the partner, if she can see that you're soliciting her and taking some responsibility, she can then let up on perhaps her complaints or her pressure on you. And the two of you can begin to fight less and ally more around the protection of your marriage from the intrusion of the family. So create a template that the loyalty is to each other, and solicit the partner as your ally in that. Another suggestion is that part of the template should include listing the three most likely difficult moments that you're going to face. So say you're visiting for a holiday dinner, or maybe you're visiting for a weekend, or something along that line, or maybe just for the evening. List the three most likely, write it down on a piece of paper, list the three most likely encounters you will have with your mother that is going to provoke your guilt and loyalty, in which your wife is going to get thrown under the bus inadvertently by your mother's demand that you make her the priority over your wife. So list them on a piece of paper. Write them out, the scenarios that are likely to produce your guilt. Now, second, write out a response to that. No, mother, I really am not going to talk to you about your problems with dad. I'm here for a visit. I'm here to enjoy you. So write out your responses, and before you go, practice them. And practice them in front of your wife. Let her be an ally. Third, pick a time frame. Don't go for the visit and have it become an involvement that involves so much time that it's very difficult to hold a sense of boundaries. So I would hold a time frame. I don't know, and people differ on this. Could be 2 hours, it could be 3 hours. The longer the time frame, the more likely people are to get into their familiar roles, and the more likely you might be to slip up into your guilt and disloyalty to your partner. The fourth is to create a check-in process with each other. So maybe the two of you decide as a couple that every hour or so you'll quietly walk off to the side or take 2 minutes to say, how's it going? So that's critical for your wife, your partner, to know that you are allied with her and that you are keeping conscious of the impact on her. And to your wife, I think it's important that if you see that you have some allowance. I don't mean that you permit abuse or repetition of the dysfunction, but you give some allowance to the struggle that your husband's going to have and the imperfection as he tries to manage this. So that fourth step's important, the check-in process. 5, I would have a cue that you have with each other. It's some kind of nonverbal or verbal cue with each other that something has gone too far. Your mother, the agents of your mother are pressuring you too much. You've given a wink to your wife and you said, it's time for us to leave. Your wife says, this is getting too much for me. You have a nonverbal or perhaps a verbal cue with each other that lets you know that you two need to be wrapping up the visit. And then finally, I would practice and have ready a graceful exit. No matter how dysfunctional, no matter how pressured you feel by your mother or agents of your mother to feel bad, stay in your adult presence and say, I'm glad to see you, I love you, we'll visit again. But you leave the situation gracefully so that you have the integrity of your own purpose, so that you don't get bought into the message that somehow you did something wrong. So those are some steps for you as a couple. Obviously, if you're not able to manage this together in creating a template of visiting and not getting involved, I would highly recommend a trained couples therapist. Trained couples therapists know how to manage this, know how to help you set generational boundaries. And the last thing I'll say before I'll say goodbye to you is that sometimes it can be a recommendation that the couples therapy or the therapy involves the parent, I would recommend against that. Especially early in the process, this emancipation from your family is not a negotiation. It is an announcement. And so while you're going to be respectful and loving as you recreate the contractual arrangement with your mother, it is not for her to anoint it as okay. It is her job and your father's job and your family's job to celebrate your independence, celebrate your relationship. It doesn't mean you don't have problems, but it is their job to deal with the loss that you have left home, you've created your own life, and that you're there to support them, even though from time to time they may miss you and let you know that they miss you. But it's their job to deal with that. It's not yours to compromise your life to such an extent that it undermines your marriage. So happy loving, and I hope you find a way to let go of your parent and still love them and have a set of relationships that are functional for you and your wife and your romantic partner. Well, thank you for visiting with me tonight. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel so you can have updates on future videos that I'll be doing on this topic of enmeshment, as well as visit my website, overcomingenmeshment.com. That's www.overcomingenmeshment.com, where there's plenty of free content, information about this topic, as well as updates on the workshops that I do for men and women from all around the world.